Patrick's Garage.
Can we use old car for every day? A reasonable question. And the answer may very well surprise you. I'm going to give you my viewpoint on that question. We can find a lot of information if we Googling a little. Now, of course, it's flooded with all kinds of crap. Guys blabbling away about cars. But sometimes they don't know anything about old cars. But we're here to helping each other with information about old cars. Sharing with experience is what my channel was configured for. Sharing information about owning experience and repairing process to helping everyone out. We have old simple cars for saving money, not for throwing a lot of money for expensive repair. This is the tried, true, and proven design. We're talking about everyday cars, not classic car, just a toy. I don't care about rich man's toy. I always talking about how to save your money by owning old car. So we should sharing our experience and information. We can learn so much from engineering details of old car design. Simple technology more reliable. In modern cars, a lot of systems under computer control. You never know what's going on electronically. And their automatic transmissions are a little iffy so. Strangely enough, and I still can't figure out it. They immensely more complex and they used to be for some weird reason. It's just absurdity. That's the weakest link on the vehicle. These days they make everything like crap. It's also sacrifice the reliability. Car system can't working properly if the battery weak. It's pretty typical with any old modern car, which, as far as I'm concerned, is a big mistake. Now, hardly to find guys who are working with old cars every day, and hardly to find honest guys, and all of them lie. And they could cause harm. But maybe you lucky enough and you can find mechanic for your old car. But now mechanics who have experience with old cars are getting ready to retire. Comment down below. I want to know your story about car repairing. You going to have a mechanic who knows what he doing to mess around with your car. I personally very often meet clones in the workshops, but what about you? I'm very interested. Maybe we can carry this discussion in the next videos. I continue driving around my old car because I think it's a reliable vehicle. They made great cars in olden days, you say. Some extent yes, some extent no. I can say about Volvos, they was really great in 60s. The more simple car, the more survivable it is. But even today, you can find more reliable cars. But just for example, big Toyotas. We should admit that big Toyotas are great cars even today. I'm also aware that some people have different attitudes about car brands. It just from my personal experience about Toyotas. They can last hundreds of thousands of miles. If you're going to buy a new one, you're probably going to get years and years of pretty trouble-free stuff. You can agree or disagree with me in the comments down below. So happens that I worked as a driver on a big four-wheel drive Toyota and it never let me down. Yes, it's very complex car with a lot of electronic. But we don't give a crap because it doesn't break. You don't care that it has a lot of electronic if it doesn't break all the time. So far as it so far as it worked perfectly. So far it's worked perfectly fine. You can driving around without doing anything with car. Of course you need putting gas and changing oil with filters, but new expensive cars are unaffordable for me. They're trying to squeeze as much as they possibly can. Whenever they get chance to raise the price, they do. They have a audacity trying to get a lot of money for new cars. That's all car companies care about. This is why you can't believe a word that comes out of the sales guy's mouth. This probably explains a lot of things that happening. Most people are like me, they don't like wasting their money on something that shouldn't be as expensive as they asking for. But sometimes good things comes out of bad things. So I agree with that entirely. Sure enough, more easy to find reliability in old car. It's not that high technology. So they really shouldn't cost so much money. You can get old cars cheap enough and they can last forever. But that's not an easy thing to do now, especially if you have only few hundreds. Yes, a lot of people are going to say, oh, he must be insane buying that old thing. So, if you have old car, more wise to repair it and driving around forever. But if you haven't, I'm not advising to buy it. Maybe you can get old car from relatives for nothing. But it's maybe a little bit more difficult than anything. I wouldn't advise to anybody to buy old unpopular cars. Sometimes very hard to find spare parts for some models. So very important to have access for spare parts. This is another thing I forgot to mention at the very beginning. Don't buy cheap junky parts at discount auto parts store. You shouldn't buy crap if you value your money. One crappy part can damage another parts, and it's going to give you a set of additional problems. You never know where it comes from. They may be worse than what you have now. You can put something from another car only if there is no other way out of it. All crappy parts eventually gonna have to be replaced if you drive it too long. For best models, more easy to find their parts. You can put most of them in big box and selling them. It's very hard to forecast the long-term future. For daily drive car, very important factory condition. I'm driving around old Volvo 1972. There is my latest purchase. I know for a fact that these cars are infinitely reliable, all done mechanically, not electronically. A lot of guys like 142 Volvo, but for family, I think more better 144 Volvo. I firmly believe that four-door car more convenient. That's very important. 240 series available even today. You might think twice before you buy one. They're very similar to 140 series from long distance. But if we see more closely, we noticed visual difference between. Contrary to most cars, it's a rear wheel drive car, and you can get a lot of fun driving them.